Today, Mychelle from Batch and myself are going to be demoing Batch Dialer. Hey guys, welcome back to another demo. Today, Mychelle from Batch and myself are going to be demoing Batch Dialer. Batch Dialer is literally my favorite dialer. It's the best dialer. It's the only dialer you should use if you are not already using one. Check it out. I absolutely love the Batch Dialer, guys. You can actually get a 7-day free trial that includes unlimited outbound calling with the link below this video, or you can use code Dave when you sign up. Again, that's 7 days for free and you get unlimited outbound dialing. One of the things I love about the Batch Dialer is it's a multi-line dialer, right? So you can be dialing 2, 3, 4, up to 10. I don't recommend you go that high, but you can if you want. Mychelle, what's up? How are you?
Hey, doing good. So excited to go over the dialer today. I know this is probably, you guys use this almost daily, right? Like just constantly
We use
dialing
this
with it.
thing, yes, we have 3 callers. They're all part-time. So we essentially have 60 hours, of dialing every single week. My dialers or my callers, they dial from Tuesday through Saturday. So we don't call on Sunday, we don't call on Monday. And I just wanted to get, one weekend day. So that's why I shifted it Tuesday through Saturday. It's a really, really good strategy because that way we get some dials out on the weekend. But yeah, 60 hours of dialing a week, which is great. And we're getting, on a great day, 5 to 10 leads added, and usually minimum of 1 or 2 with that many dialers, leads getting added into the system. So, I mean, it's phenomenal. Absolutely love the dialer. Has made tons of money for us, generating deals for wholesale and, fix and flip, as well as rentals, which we love to do. That's our passion. So love the dialer. So excited.
So great to hear. I love it. Let's dive in.
Let's
check
do it.
it out.
Let's dive on in, guys. Today's going to be a quick demo on the dialer. So again, click the link below. You can get a free trial, and you guys can also get unlimited outbound dialing. I absolutely love it. So whenever
a lot of people don't know this, but they actually get $20 off for life on the multi-line. Yeah. So when they sign up for the free trial, if they do the multi-line, instead of $139, it's $119 for life through your link as well.
All right. So when we log in, guys, we get you go to the dashboard, and the dashboard's great because you can actually change this. So like if I was going to go to like the last 3 months, right, and see what the last 3 months looked like. I don't know if that worked or not. Let's try that again. 1026 through 126. Yep. So look at this. We've made 212,000 calls that we've made. Holy moly. In the last 3 months, we've connected with almost 14,000 homeowners, and we've generated 72 leads in just the last couple of months. Like I said, on a good day, we'll get several leads, and usually we'll get at least one added. Love this. I absolutely love this. There's all kinds of great statistics and dashboards right here on the dashboard, of course, right? You can see the average call duration. You can see the results. You can see the locations. We're typically calling within our own market here out of St. Louis. You can see the total number of calls and what agents are in here dialing, which is awesome. I absolutely love this. Next, you have the campaigns. And this is where you're going to, add in your campaigns or manage and monitor your campaigns. And I just added in a bunch of new campaigns, as you can see here. These were, this was actually Mychelle's doing and help. Remember when we did our demo the other day? And you were like, hey, you should go into your database and you should find the leads that are in there already, right? And then pull out the vacants or the absentees or all those different things. I ran with it, and I I added them. I know. I'm pumped. So my team is in here. We have a ton of new leads to go through. But again, very, very simple to use, very, very easy to use. And when you go in and you add a campaign, I can click on one to edit it. You guys have changed this, but it looks so cool. I love this, right? So you can see which agents are in here. I have 2 dialer seats, but 3 people. So that's why you see 2 right there. I have 6 numbers, the list. But one of the things that I really like is if you click into the advanced, you can go in and you can see how many simultaneous dials, and you can modify this stuff, right? And change this. So it's really, really, really simple to use, as you can see here.
For the dials, do you want to talk about like how many lines? Because you can dial up to 10. But as Steve was saying, we don't recommend going over 3 or 4 lines that you're dialing at one time, because imagine if you're calling 10 people at one time and 3 pick up, you have to hang up on 2 of those people. And so then your connectivity rate goes down. And I did some math on your numbers. Your connectivity rate is about 70%, which is awesome. So like 70% of the people you're calling, you're connecting with, which is really great. So like 3 lines is really good, because chances are 2 people aren't going to answer, but 1 might, So 3 or 4 is like the magic number for lines and getting a good connectivity rate with.
I agree. I've tried 5, 6, 7 in the past.
Too much.
And it's too much. It's too fast. Yeah, absolutely. So
if it's a dead list, like, sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's even certain times where I'll scale it down to 1 or 2 if it's like I really want them to connect and I don't want any issues. But typically speaking, Mychelle, we're doing about 3, as you can see here. When I share my screen, we're doing about 3. I don't typically mess with the duration for the abandoned timeout, but I do have my retry set for 1 hour with 2 calls max per day. I don't want to be blowing people up too much, right? I want to make sure that we're doing this the right way, but I have my max attempts per record set at 4, right? So it'll try again, right? But then it stops after the 2nd call that day, and then it will actually start over the next day as well here. So I
think that's really good, healthy for your phone numbers too. A lot of people ask like, how do I prevent my numbers from getting spammed? And honestly, like not retrying the same number right away or after a few minutes, like you're waiting an hour to retry it 1 more time, and then you're quitting it until the next day.
Yeah, and I've tried a lot of different stuff, and that seems to be the best, because if you go too quick, you may have that number be marked as spam, like you said. But if you wait too long, you're kind of leaving opportunity on the table. So
or they might block your number.
Or they might block your number. That's exactly right. I love it. Okay. So we have our campaigns here, and you can see, guys, we have a ton of campaigns. We've been using this for over a year. Love this dialer. On the left, you can see that there's different contacts that you can search by if somebody were to call back, or you're wanting to, maybe search a phone number, an address, a name. The search feature is awesome. You can even search by the different lists here. You can filter, or you can even add a new contact. Very, very user-friendly over here on the contacts. And if you want to add a list, you're going to go here and you're going to actually import that list. What I used to do is I used to use batch leads to, I still do, of course, to get my list and to do my skip tracing. Mychelle, you know that. But what I used to do is I used to export those out and then import them into the dialer. But now I have them synced, which is so cool, because now I can just go into batch leads after I get my leads and after I get my skip trace done, and I can just click 1 or 2 little buttons, and then boom, it pushes it over to the dialer.
Yeah. As long as you have a campaign created first, like you do, you can just assign that list and batch leads to whatever campaign you've created in the dialer, and then it's there waiting for you. Technology is awesome.
It is so awesome. I love it. I absolutely love it. So again, if you wanted to import individual contacts or lists, you can do so over here. But you can also do this in batch leads and push these over, assuming you have both batch leads and batch dialer. Now, before we move on, I want to talk about that just for 1 second, guys. The majority of the cost that I usually see and am looking at is the skip tracing. That's typically going to be my highest expense, right? So once I pull a list of leads and I skip trace those leads, I send it to my virtual assistants to text so they can start hammering out text messages. But I also push them over to the dialer because you can't text landlines, right? Mm-hmm. And certain people may have text messaging as their preferred method of communications. Others may have the phone. So by hitting both of these, sometimes simultaneously, but regardless if it's just a couple days later or whatnot, it's really, really good to try to get as much out of the data as you can. If you don't, in my opinion, you're kind of leaving some opportunity on the table. So the batch leads SMS, compiled or compare or brought together is the best word with the dialer is going to get you the biggest bang for your buck when it comes to marketing. So I just love batch leads. I love batch dialer. I would say those two things make up about 80% of all of my marketing at this point. Of course, we do driving for dollars and some direct mail and, some banded signs, and occasionally we'll do some radio ads. But for the most part, over the last 6, 8, 10 months, the SMS and cold calling makes up about 80% of all of the marketing that we're doing in our business. And we're buying several houses a month, in some cases, several a week. It's crazy.
Do you have like a specific script that you're having your VAs follow, or I know?
Yes, we do. We do.
Would you use the default?
So sometimes, what I do is, that's a great question. What I'll do is I'll typically give my callers 2, 3, 4 scripts. I'll send them a couple, and I'll let them pick which one they like the best.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, because I don't want them to sound scripted.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes if they're reading something and they don't like the flow, it does sound very scripted. So what I do is I say, hey guys, here's 3, 4, scripts that we use and that we like to use. And if you want to use one of these 4, great, go for it. And if you want to make your own, as long as you're asking the right questions, that's fine too. So I actually give my callers the option of kind of picking and choosing and creating. I don't want to get in their way. And the main thing, like you said, is I don't want it to sound scripted, though, right? Yeah. So
I love that. And then it gives them a chance to own it and like make it their own. So it's, you're right.
And then whenever, like you said, if they own it and they make it their own, now they are going to have better energy and sound better.
Take pride in that,
Oh my goodness. Absolutely. 100%. Cool.
I've never heard of people doing that.
I love it. All right. So back to batch dialer, guys. You can also go in here and you can see users, and look at this. Rochelle is dialing as we speak. And I have some of my other team members in here. And this is just really, really cool because you can search through different things, which I love. On the left, you can see here's the phone system. Now, I only have 6 numbers. Mychelle, do you recommend that I get more? And I've had these numbers for over a year. I mean, we're in 2022, but they all have a good reputation and a good score. So do you recommend that I get more? Because again, we're dialing 60 hours a week.
And how many calls are they making per day?
That's a great question. So let's just look at maybe today. And today we've already made almost 2,000 calls.
Yeah. Okay. Let me look. Okay, so they're making over 300 calls per number per day. So, I mean, if your numbers are fine and your connectivity rate is golden, which it is, it's really good, then, you don't really need to do anything. But if you are noticing, so I do get this question a lot just because there is the Traced Act with cold calling, and they're just spamming numbers a lot more frequently. So like we mentioned, the settings for your dialing campaign do matter. So, how many times are you retrying a number? How fast are you retrying that number? So just to recap, Dave switched his settings in his campaign to retry only 2 times per day and after 1 hour. So it's not like after 5 minutes, it's retrying that same number. So, his numbers aren't acting spammy. They're just calling once, and then they're calling an hour later if they don't pick up, and then it's stopping for that day. So he's probably able to do a lot more calls. But if you have your settings where you're retrying a number after 5 minutes, multiple times a day, maybe 3 or 4 times a day, the likelihood of that number getting spammed are going to go way up. So our rule of thumb is, with DID numbers, you want to be around 200 dials per phone number per day. If you are, if your settings are the default settings now, or, something different. But with Dave, he's giving these numbers a break. He's only trying twice per day, an hour in between. So, he can do more dials with different phone numbers per day. So, be like Dave and change your settings to that. You can do
love it.
over 300 calls
so
per
if
night.
I go in and I look at the last 7 days, we're at about 14,000.
Mm-hmm.
And if I divide that by 7, which really I should divide that by 5, right? So 14,000, divide that by 5. I'm averaging about 2,800 dials a day.
With 6 numbers.
With 6 numbers, right? So you said the rule of thumb is maybe 200 a day, 200 dials per number per day.
Mm-hmm. And you're getting about 460 dials per phone number per day with the settings that you have. So that's
the settings that I have. So if we were to speed things up, which I don't want to do, that may make those numbers be marked as spam, so on and so forth. So it'd probably be a good idea for me to maybe add a couple more numbers to try to get them closer to like maybe 200 or 300 versus the 460.
Yeah. I mean, the lower the better, but yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, cool. Well, that's what we're going to do this afternoon. We're going to add a couple more numbers in here. No problem, because I want to be able to connect with as many people as I can. So guys, the phone numbers are here. The do not calls are here. Your inbound calls are here. Now, I don't really use the inbound area. And the reason is because all of the calls that come in, they forward to a voicemail box. We don't leave voicemails. We don't drop voicemails. We don't leave voicemails when we're cold calling. Mm-hmm. I don't want to mess with, any of those regulations and whatnot. So we just move on once we get an answering machine, right? But when somebody sees a missed call on their phone, they often call back, right? And this is another thing that I just really love about it, because it's just action. It's marketing, right? We're just making moves in the marketplace, right? So, there may be 500 people, 1,000 people a day that they didn't answer that call. They didn't see it coming in. No problem. But they'll see the missed call and they'll call back. And when they call back, it goes into a voicemail box. It actually doesn't even ring anybody on my team. And that voicemail box just says, "Hey, this is David with House Sold Easy. I'm so glad you called. I've been trying to reach you about a property that I think you own that I'm trying to buy, or I'm trying to make an offer on." So if you do have a property that you're interested in selling, leave me a message with your name, number, and the address of the property. And either myself or somebody on my team will get back with you right away. And then what I'll do is, before I hang that up or end that, I'll say, and if you don't own a property, I'm sorry that I bothered you and wasted your time. You can just disregard this message, right? Because they're calling back and they're listening to essentially one of my voicemails. And by doing that, people will just hang up if they don't have a property that they want to sell. Or if we called them and they didn't answer and they got that and called back, then they'll say, "Oh, I actually do have a property that I want to sell. It's over on Main Street. Give me a call. Here's my name and number." And it just tees up my lead manager or my acquisition manager to contact them and, set up an appointment or learn how we can help them, see if they're motivated or not. So absolutely love that. And if we go back to the dialer page here, this is really cool. So over here on the left side, if you go to phone system and you see call results, these are different call results that will essentially populate on the screen after one of my callers makes the call. So, in the event that the seller's not interested, or there was no answer, or it was busy, or it was abandoned, they click a button here, right? And the cool thing is whenever they click a button from the call result, it actually triggers certain actions. Yep. And those actions may be to add them to the do not call list. They may be to follow up with them in a couple days. They may actually, talk to a seller that's motivated. That's the goal, right? And in that case, it'll push it over to the CRM and create a task. So there's lots of really cool tools that you can use in here to automate. But Mychelle, my number one favorite thing about the dialer, obviously multi-line, that's awesome.
Yes.
The ability to have the VAs go in and do this on my behalf, awesome. All of this is very, very awesome. But my number one favorite thing I'm going to show you guys right now is we're going to go over to the reports and we're going to see the live reports. And over here, I can actually see in real time. Let me get this little thing off the screen.
Who she's calling too. Wow.
I can actually see how many lines are being dialed in real time. And I can see if it's ringing or if there's an answering machine or what's going on. I can see what campaign. So she's calling on vacants right now. I can see the duration. And the coolest part, Mychelle, is when she connects, right? And we'll just give it a second here because she's good. She's really good. And look at all this data at the top. How many missed calls, how many abandoned calls. The talking time today is almost an hour on the phone. The average agent wait time between connecting with somebody. There's so much information here. But once they connect with somebody, it is so awesome because you can do one of two things. Number one, you can listen in, right? So let's say that you just have some free time and you want to listen in on these calls, that you can do so. Or if you want to, you can even barge in on these calls in real time. So I know a lot of people, when they're bringing in virtual assistants to help them with this, they will listen in and then they will, contact their cold caller and they will help them and say, hey, you're doing really, really good. However, maybe do this or don't do that. And it's a really, really great tool to be able to help and coach them on how to be better at it, right? Also, if you want to barge in, let's say you're listening in and they connect with somebody and that individual's like hot lead. Like they're like, oh my God, I've been trying to sell this property for weeks. And, I'm so glad that you called. Well, there's an option where you can barge in. And that's so great because you can literally go in and you can say, hey, I just walked in the office and I heard, Dana or Rochelle or Tom or Jack or whoever, and I overheard the conversation. I'm Dave. I'm actually the owner of this company and I'm familiar with that area. When do you have the ability to come and meet with me, right? So being able to listen in is awesome, but also being able to barge in is even cooler. I absolutely love that feature. And it looks like maybe my VA is on a break right now because I don't see any of the live calls at the moment. But you guys just saw a minute ago, those were in there. So I absolutely love Batch Dialer. I love the ability to listen in on those calls live. And I love being able to barge in as well. And that's it. It's that simple.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, the settings, all you do is just set up those phone settings, download a list in there, create a campaign, and then you can start dialing. It's so stinking easy.
It is. Yeah. It's awesome. I absolutely love it. Guys, Batch Dialer gives you unlimited outbound calling. You can even get a 7-day free trial. Click the link below this video or use code DAVE to get that 7-day free trial, as well as the unlimited outbound dialing. And Mychelle, you had mentioned something about saving some money too.
Yeah, so it gives you $20 off the multi-line dialer for life. So yeah, if you sign up for that trial, once the trial ends, you're locked in at that special pricing for the multi-line.
I love it. I love it. All right, guys. Well, that's it. Quick demo today with the Batch Dialer. Mychelle, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
You're always learning new things whenever I get with you.
I love it. And then you're implementing them. That's great.
I love it. Thank you so much, guys. Signing off. And if you have not checked out Batch Dialer, head on over batchdialer.com/Dave. Take advantage of that 7-day free trial. You can dial 2, 3, 4, up to 10 lines all at once if you want. Again, we recommend 3 to 4, but we love it. And with that, we're going to be signing off. Thanks, guys.